Hello everyone, we've got an interesting functions question here. So let's have a look at this. The function g is defined by g of x is equal to ln 3x minus 7 over ln x minus 2, where x is greater than 0. Part A, and it says x is not equal to some value k, where k is a constant. Deduce the value of k. Now, when I look at that, we're going to get, if we try and divide by 0, we're going to get math error. It's going to be undefined. So therefore, the value of k that we cannot have is the value that makes the denominator equal to 0. We're not allowed to have that because that's undefined. So that happens when ln x minus 2 is equal to 0. So therefore, ln x is equal to 2. So therefore, x is equal to e squared. So therefore, k is equal to e squared, because that's the value of the denominator, of x in the denominator, that would make the denominator 0 and would give us the function being undefined. What that means in practice, by the way, is that means that we have a vertical asymptote here at x is equal to e squared. Okay, so that's our first piece of information. Part B, prove that g dashed of x is greater than 0 for all values of x in the domain of g. Okay, so let's have a look then and find our derivative of this function. Now, the first thing I've written here is I've written down the quotient rule. Okay, remember most boards do give us the quotient rule, which is quite nice. And this, I've written it in the format where we're considering that g of x is equal to u over v, just because I prefer that notation. I mean, I know it makes, I'm mixing my notations up there, but okay, so u is going to equal 3 ln x minus 7. So therefore, u dashed is going to be the derivative of this. So it's going to be 3 over x. V is going to equal ln of x minus 2. So therefore, v dashed is going to equal 1 over x. So we can sub these pieces of information into our formula now. Our u dashed is 3 over x times by v, which is ln x minus 2, ln x minus 2, minus u, which is 3 ln x minus 7, times by v dashed, which is 1 over x, all over v squared, which is ln x minus 2 all squared. Okay, so that's our g dashed of x subbing into the quotient rule. Now, you may, viewers of the channel might remember me saying that whenever we have this kind of scenario where we have a function within a function or a fraction within a fraction, the simplest way to deal with it is to multiply the numerator and the denominator by whatever it is that's causing it to be the fraction within the fraction. Okay, so in this case, the fraction within the fraction is being caused by the over x. So we're going to times the numerator and denominator by x, which is going to give us 3 ln x minus 2 minus 3 ln x minus 7, like that. Yeah, that's fine. I should put a bracket around that there. All over v squared, which is ln x minus 2 all squared. Okay, so that's that bit. Let's continue now. Let's expand our brackets now and do a little bit of simplification. So when I expand this bracket, I'm going to get 3 times ln x is going to be 3 ln x minus 6. Expand this bracket, minus 3 ln x, and a minus times a minus makes a plus. So plus 7 all over ln x minus 2 all squared. Plus 3 ln x and minus 3 ln x are going to cancel. And minus 6 add 7 is going to become 1. Or I should have mentioned here that when I multiply by my numerator and my denominator by x, that's going to introduce an x in that denominator there as well. So therefore, we end up with 1 over x times by ln x minus 2 all squared. And that is our g dashed of x. Now, we've got to consider, why is it the case that this is greater than 0? Well, so just write that this is g dashed of x. Well, we know from the question that x is greater than 0, so we know that this bit here has to be positive. And something squared here, this is always going to be positive as well. So ln x has to be greater than 0. So yeah, so if we have ln of, let's say for example, let's draw our graph of ln x and think about what's going on here. Here's our graph of ln x with an asymptote down here. So let's imagine we're at, say, x is equal to 0.01, and we do ln of 0.01. It's going to be quite a big negative number because it's going to be somewhere down here. And then we take 2 away from it, it's going to be even more negative. But then when we square it, it's going to be positive. So we're quite confident that ln x minus 2 all squared is going to be positive. And if we've got a positive times a positive, therefore we can be confident that g dashed of x is going to be positive. So you just need to write some kind of explanation and say, this is positive as x is greater than 0. This is positive because it's something squared. Therefore, positive times positive is going to be positive. And that would be sufficient for part B. Now, part C is only worth 2 marks. But I think it's, personally, I think this is really difficult. And in my experience, students find this quite tricky. Now, we've got to try and find the values of a such that the original function is greater than 0, 2 marks. And I bet that in the exam, not many people got these marks because I think it's quite difficult. This is one of those situations where if you have a graphing calculator, you're at an immediate advantage because you could program that whole function into Desmos straight away, rather into your graphing calculator straight away in order to get a picture of what it looks like. And when you do that, here's one I prepared earlier. There we go. If I bring that over here, here's one I prepared earlier, which you can see there. Yes, here's the one I prepared earlier. Now, I've entered this function from this question into Desmos, so we can instantly see what it looks like. And we can deduce straight away that we have our vertical asymptote here at x is equal to e squared, as we discussed. So from this, we can kind of quickly deduce whereabouts it's going to be the case that our function is greater than 0. So if you are in possession of a graphical calculator, you're at an immediate advantage with this one. Personally, at the moment, I would recommend the CG100 from Casio as the go-to graphical calculator to get. So I think it's quite a nice calculator. Okay, but for those of us who don't have the graphical calculator, we've got to try and figure out what's going on here. So let's have a little think about this. Where would I start? Well, I would start off by saying that I know that the function would be undefined if x was equal to e squared. So we know that we have our vertical asymptote at x is equal to e squared here as shown. Okay. So what I would do is I would think to myself, what's the behaviour of the curve just immediately before the asymptote and just after the asymptote? So I work out that e squared is 7.389. So I'm going to try what's the curve doing when x equals 7. So I put x equals 7 into my calculator and it's approximately 21. So when x is just a little bit before the asymptote, the curve's up here. So then I thought to myself, okay, well I know that when x is equal to 0, ln is not defined, but what's the curve doing just that little bit after 0? So I worked out what's happening when the curve when x is equal to 0.001. And that gave me 1.51. So in between 0 and the asymptote, the behaviour of the curve is, we don't know exactly what it looks like without a graphic calculator, but I'm imagining it's going to be something like this, okay? There's no reason, the function's continuous in that interval, so there's no reason to suggest it's suddenly going to go down here. So I think we can say from that the curve is therefore going to be positive where a or x, whichever one you want, it's a in this case, is less than e squared but greater than 0. So with no graphical calculator, that's how I would deduce that first range. Now I would turn my attention to immediately after the asymptote, and I would say, what's the behaviour of the curve immediately after the asymptote? So I'm going to try 7.5 because that's just a little bit bigger than e squared. So I put in 7.5 and I find minus 64, okay? So that would suggest the curve's all the way down here, and that often happens with curves, doesn't it? The behaviour of the curve is it goes up here, approaches the asymptote up there and pops back down here at minus infinity. So that's what's going on in this kind of situation. Again, the curve is going to be continuous thereafter. So we're going to imagine that somewhere after the 7.5 is going to be a point where it crosses the x-axis. And something crosses the x-axis when the function is equal to 0, and the function is equal to 0 when the numerator is 0. So I need to say to myself, okay, what's the value of x where the numerator is 0? So I'm going to say 3x minus 7 equals 0, so ln x is 7 over 3. So therefore x is e to the 7 over 3. So my next range of values where g of x is positive is going to be for x is greater than e to the 7 over 3, or in this case they're calling it a. So that's my answer for part B. The range of values, okay, is going to be less than e squared but greater than 0, but greater than e to the 7 over 3. Only worth 2 marks. In my opinion, quite challenging, I think. You're at a distinct advantage if you have a graphical calculator for that one. If you don't have a graphical calculator, you've got to think about understanding the property of the graph and what's happening there. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Remember, if you're finding my videos helpful, then please do like and subscribe. That's going to help me to keep on growing the channel. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for watching.